It's been so many years through.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been.
Welcome back to the Week in Wrestling podcast.
The Four Horsemen ride again. I guess 3 in this case. The band is back together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're back.
So a lot of things have been going on.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, a lot of pacing in the living room, wanting to punch some holes in the walls. A couple good things.
Well, before we do
A
that,
couple good things.
before we start punching holes in the walls and throwing rock bottoms and elbows, we're back. Dynamite D Harris back, along with my partners here, my co-pilots.
Right, the Captain Casey Church.
And Luke Janisko. I never have a cool name.
Well, you're gonna be Cool Hand
Cool
Luke.
Hand Luke is what we're
Cool
going to go with.
Hand
I hope Paul Newman's not listening and he's not going to come in and get the copyright infringement, but we'll go Cool Hand Luke. But, we haven't, I don't know, was it 2012 last time we did this?
Oh yeah. Right around the time I graduated and I left you guys.
Yep. That's how it went.
Backstabber. he jumped to the other promotions and all that, so...
It's a little bit of bad blood.
I went to WCW.
Yep.
And got lost in the shuffle.
Stuck in the mid-card. But we're back now. A lot of things have happened, obviously. We didn't have an outlet for it, but now we do again.
Yes.
So WWE just had TLC this past Sunday, so I guess that'll be a starting point for...
Yeah, a little weird, because I remember watching Smackdown, like the week before, and thinking to myself, they just had Survivor Series. What are we doing having another pay-per-view? And then you remember that...
Literally 2 weeks later.
Yeah, literally. And another one, they have Roadblock 2 weeks from now for Raw. And that's when you remember that, oh yeah, the Bland Split is back again. So now we have to go through twice as many pay-per-views now because you're going to have an interbrand one, namely the Big Four, probably a couple in between. Then you're going to have one that's Raw, one that's SmackDown, one that's Raw, one that's SmackDown, Big Four.
And it's so crazy with that because I remember when they initiated the brand split, I was like, okay, we're going to alternate pay-per-views, obviously the Big Four. And then they released the schedule, and it was like, no, we're just going to have 2 pay-per-views a month for each different brand, and then also the Big Four. And I was like, there's no way they're going to do that.
They're up to like 19.
It's insane.
Yeah. I guess the benefit is that, with the exception of a couple outlets, most of the pay-per-views are only available on the WWE Network anyway.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Big Four and maybe a couple sprinkled here and there, the only way you're going to be able to see these shows are on the network. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's the way to try to milk as much value as they can out of the network, because let's be honest, unless you're really into going back to watch the old WCW, ECW on-demand stuff, or watching, reruns of Total Divas, though why you would want to is anyone's
Who doesn't?
guess.
Isn't that why we all have the WWE Network?
I watched them once and I'm done with them.
I can't believe it's still going, but not.
I can't believe there's a spin-off of the Bellas. Wow.
And I don't take those shows very seriously for a simple fact. First of all, it's reality TV. Second of all, it's quote-unquote reality TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard that WWE scripts Total Divas and even Total Bellas now just as much as they script the main roster shows.
And it's so insane because I turned on an episode of Total Divas. It was around WrestleMania time, and us knowing wrestling, you can point out the inconsistencies of this wasn't filmed that day because that couldn't have been possible. It's like, since when we watch wrestling that closely, we just know. It's like just someone who's turning on E or whatever would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But, like, I'm just like, there's no way that happened. That didn't even happen in the time period.
Who is this show for, I have to ask you? Because it's obviously not for WWE fans, because...
It's mainly to grab those casual fans and women, basically, who like...
but at least, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I can kind of see the appeal.
That's the audience they're chasing.
Yeah, but if you're a fan of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, are you really going to care enough about... Even if you just watch this show casually, are you really going to say, okay, that's neat and all, but I don't care enough about pro wrestling to continue to watch this?
Well, I think you're looking at that as the perspective of, a random person looking at this. But I know I have a lot of female friends that don't even watch wrestling at all. But they'll watch it here and there simply because they love Total Divas.
Like they can. It's just like their own world. It's just like the Kardashians. They don't know nothing really about them except for what's on E, and then they just are captivated by it. But it's like, since we know about it, it's like...
Yeah, a prime example of me knowing that, like, oh, yeah, this crap is scripted. I've seen a couple of times where I knew if this really, really happened, I can't pinpoint it exactly what happened. I think it was something that had to do with Natty. But had she really done that, she'd be fired.
Yeah.
And then there was the whole thing where they, like, you I think the first, second season, you saw Stephanie a lot. They say Stephanie McMahon is the hardest person to get, like, 3 words with during the day.
Yeah.
And they're just having casual conversations with her backstage. Like, it's clearly just filmed for the show.
And there's also an exploitation part about it, too, because I guess seeing the previews from Smackdown last night, they're putting the whole Paige Alberto Del Rio thing in there.
Yep.
And I remember just searching on YouTube, and it came up in the recommended for you category, them finding out about Dusty Rhodes passing away.
Oh, okay.
And, that just seems like, it's relevant to the programming, because these are WWE superstars. They work for the WWE. Dusty Rhodes was a huge aspect to their training, especially those who were coming up from NXT.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it just felt like, exploitation almost, because of... they mentioned, Dustin and Cody by name in that same segment, and it just seemed like that's to get the sentimental value out of the WWE fan who happens to be watching.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why they have the reruns on constantly during the actual scheduled portion of the WWE network, getting back to the point we started with, is that they're trying to milk just as much value as they can for that $9.99.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've heard, I don't know if they're still playing on this, but I heard that they might be doing, like, different tiers.
That's what I had heard too, yeah.
Like $9.99 would get you the base package, but if you want to get all of the pay-per-views, including the big 4, as well as, exclusive access to the DVDs that they released and on demand, it would be an additional $5 or $10 more.
Now, if they do that, I guarantee they're going to lose a lot of customers, because I'm not paying more than $9.99.
Yeah, it's like I barely watch it enough to justify $9.99.
Yeah, I think what they're planning to do is, like, if you want, like, say that's like a $6 package, that's just the network scheduled. None of the on-demand stuff or anything like that. Just the actual scheduled network that they have. Which I still watch from time to time. I actually kind of like that more than just the on-demand stuff. $9.99 would get you the on-demand stuff, the classic WWE, WCW, ECW shows. And if you wanted, like, more, to pay more, you'd get more live shows. You would get, stuff from, like, I don't know, New Japan maybe. Maybe some, like I said, the early access to DVDs, because I wanted to get the Paul Heyman DVD really badly. Yeah. And then I saw that it was available on demand on the WWE network, and it's like, why would I pay for the DVD when I could just watch this on demand?
I found that very odd, and I took it as sort of a slight to Paul Heyman, because that DVD was still relatively new.
Yeah.
And it was on the network.
Yep, and they put
it was on the network almost a month later. It's a fantastic documentary.
It's great.
Yeah, it is. I actually bought it, and then it was on the freaking network.
Yeah, same with me. Same with me.
I will say this, though. Going back to what I said earlier, Paul Heyman does the best Dusty Rhodes impersonation I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, he does.
Absolutely.
And everyone has their own kind.
Right. All right. Yeah, it was just weird that we had another pay-per-view to get hyped about right after Survivor Series, because I just remember the last time that happened, it was a little event called, what was it called? Oh, yeah, ECW December to Dismember.
Oh, Lord.
And we all know what a big train wreck that was. And I guess they've learned from their mistakes, and granted, the network definitely has a lot of appeal. People who are diehard wrestling fans who would be willing to watch these brand-exclusive pay-per-views, they already have the network. They can watch it at any time. They don't have to sit down on a Sunday night to watch it. They can just watch the next day on demand if they want to. So I think that's their mentality. They can obviously sell a lot more tickets that way as well for people actually to go to these shows. So I guess that's the mentality, but it's still just a little bit weird that we just came off, a huge Big 4 pay-per-view. A lot of storylines came to an end at that show.
Or was they?
You would think, at the very least. You would think at the end of a Big 4 pay-per-view, it was either the start of something or the end of something. But we're supposed to get hyped up for this TLC gimmick pay-per-view that's apparently SmackDown only. And let's be honest, the brand split hasn't really been around long enough for me to care about these brand exclusive pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I felt like they should have waited till after the Royal Rumble, leading up to WrestleMania to have these.
And that's what they did initially with the original brand extension. We didn't have brand exclusive pay-per-views right away.
Yeah.
Because we were still doing like one a month at that point.
Yeah,
and then after the Rumble, we had 2 titles and all that stuff. So we started.
Yeah, I remember it was shocking to me that I think it was Bad Blood, the only other Bad Blood that they had, that was a Raw exclusive pay per view. And I remember that shocked me. It's like, why is there only going to be a Raw exclusive pay per view? And then Vengeance was the next month where they reintroduced the U.S. title, and that was a SmackDown only pay per view. I was like, okay, I guess this is a way to build up storylines for the other shows, giving them a longer wait period. And I guess that's the same mentality here, but if we're having, on average, 2 to 3 pay-per-views or special events or whatever they want to call them, a month on the network, you're going to need more time to build up, especially with, and we're probably going to get into this later, having Raw and SmackDown on back-to-back days. I get you want to make both shows be live on USA, but it just creates burnout, especially if you do watch the pay-per-views live. I mean, that's on average 7-8 hours in 3 days of live wrestling.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you with that, because I've always thought SmackDown should have been live and that it should have been on Tuesday. Because you tape it on Tuesday. Because they tape it on Tuesday. However, they have oversaturated the product a little bit, because we have Raw. Now they have something on the network every week after Raw, whether it's the Raw after show or they'll have another, show like Breaking Ground, whatever's going on the network. Okay, so that's one. As far as in ring, we got Raw next night. SmackDown, 205 Live is right after SmackDown now.
Yep.
NXT's the next day.
Yep.
Thursday, I guess, is an off day. But then they'll have
they'll have main event or superstars debuting.
Yeah, well, I think superstars is done. Thank goodness.
Yep.
Main event should be next. It needs to go. Then the weekends hit, and you have the occasional NXT show, then or a pay per view the following Sunday, and then you're right back into the we have I think 3 weeks. If it's a big 4 pay per view that month. 3 weeks out of that month, we have a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this period right here is the most saturated because you have Survivor Series, then you're going to have each different pay-per-view for the brands, then you're going to have Royal Rumble, which is another big 4, then you're going to go back into each exclusive pay-per-view, then you're going to have WrestleMania. So I think this period right here is the most oversaturated.
Not to mention the occasional NXT takeover, which if you include that with the Survivor Series a couple weeks ago, because you had NXT takeover, then Survivor Series, then Raw, then SmackDown. That's just, if you're a diehard wrestling fan, you want to see all these shows live, you're going to be burnt out come Wednesday morning.
A lot of times, especially with the way people spoil stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Will Hooper, I'm talking to you. You have people spoil stuff on social media, and then if you just want to, I guess, go to a dirt sheet and see just look and see what was posted. The spoilers are right there, and they don't warn you that they're spoilers.
Yeah, they just put them out right there in the open. It's insane.
So you have to watch it right away.
The benefit of it is, with the brand split, is if you don't care what's going on Raw, you can just watch SmackDown. Which was definitely the case back when they originally had it.
SmackDown was just awesome.
Yeah, SmackDown was the better show back when they originally had the brand split, and then they tried to, combine the two, and that failed miserably.
Raw wound up, taking all their top stars.
Yeah.
Starting with John Cena.
Oh, but it kind of sounds like, WWE and WCW all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, it just feels like it's oversaturation. And I know we're dragging on about this a little too long, but it just feels like, I understand what they're doing with the network. And they don't have to cater to pay-per-view companies necessarily anymore, aside from the big 4. They obviously want Survivor Series and Royal Rumble and SummerSlam and obviously WrestleMania on the pay-per-view providers, and I get that. Everything else is just kind of, hey, you can watch this for $9.99. And you know what else you can get for $9.99? WrestleMania and all this other stuff. So they're definitely promoting their brand the best way possible.
And if you play your cards right, you can actually get the network for free. Totally get it for free if you play your cards right, because they offer it that first month free so many times.
Yeah, just keep changing your email address.
Yeah. They won't let on.
It was fine. You can find a live stream. What I do most of the time is you can just find a live stream of it, just playing the schedule stuff on it. Because I guess if you subscribe to Rogers up in Canada and get one of the higher package, you can watch the network on TV.
Oh, really?
Up in Canada, yeah.
Wow.
So I guess someone just, sets it up so that they can just stream that online, and that's what a lot of people, myself included, do. Mainly because they have a chat box inside, and
Gotcha.
it's funny as heck to see some of the reactions. You get, a lot of, emoji expressions. That's a lot funnier than you would expect, but...
Good little tidbit you heard here first.
Yeah. All right, but actually get into TLC, because it was actually, I'm not going to say it was a good show, but it was better than I was expecting at the very least.
I gave it a B+. I really liked it. If I was going to give it a letter grade, I definitely gave it a B+.
You gave it to Daniel Bryan?
Daniel Bryan will always be a in my opinion.
Had to throw the minus in there.
Yeah, because he's no AJ Styles. However, but I thought
we'll get into that soon enough.
I thought Backlash was better than this show, but this show was definitely not bad.
All right, we'll get into the opener of WTLC. The Wyatt family, featuring Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, defeated Beauty and the Man Beast to become the new WWE Tag Team Champions.
First point I want to make of that, is it me or has WWE gotten really lazy with their belt design over the years?
Yes, they have.
Because
they don't care anymore.
Because, one, the World Heavyweight Championship, carbon copy of the previous WWE Championship with the new logo. B, why is that the tag belts? Why do we still have the stupid round pennies? Third, why is the Women's Championship...
SmackDown has dimes.
Yes.
I was going to say nickels, but okay. 3, I remember WrestleMania, the pre-show, when Lita unveiled the new Women's Championship, finally killing off that god-awful Divas butterfly belt. I remember, Vince McMahon tweeting, "This is the evolution of women's wrestling." I'm like, no, this is copy-pasting. This was an evolution. You would have given them their own identity with their belt. You just carbon copied the world title. Just with for different colors.
Their explanation for that was, we want the women to feel like they're on the same level as the men. We want that feel for that division, because they're not divas anymore.
They're superstar. I get that explanation, and I know, as an outsider looking in, I can kind of see that. But with the kind of crap that the women's division has been over the last couple of years, and even now, I don't think it's gotten any better. But I just felt like if you want to show an evolution, if you want this Divas Revolution to be an evolution, as they kept trying to call it, I just felt like, completely copying the WWE World title, just giving it a white strap like the Intercontinental title and painting it red, just doesn't do it for me. And to make the Smackdown belts the exact same thing, just with different shades of blue.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because they are the blue show, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Have some identity. There's a reason why the IC title's on SmackDown and the US title is on Raw. Not because they're, the mid-card titles and you each have a mid-card singles title on the show, but because they're drastically different, not only in their design, but in their history, in their legacies. And for this, it just feels like they're fighting over the exact same belt, just one's blue.
Well, first of all, the WWE Championship, Tag Team Championship belts, the ones that they had in the last brand extension, forever will be my favorite tag team.
Yeah, those ones were great design.
Those were dope. Now, with the new ones, in the defense of the new ones, they look a lot better in SmackDown's colors. They do. They're not, orange? The brass color.
Yeah,
with a
I have to agree with that.
Blackish strap. So
I still remember screaming WTF at the screen when Bret Hart came down the road with those belts.
Now, look at it this way. If they were how they looked on SmackDown already, you probably would have had a better reaction to that.
Because at least, silver, while I'm not a huge fan of silver belts, at least it makes sense if you go back in time to, like, AWA style, or I think
WWE's getting their information from like jewelry companies or something, because everyone, gold is so
gold is gone.
Why do you think they made the gold and platinum, and that's why the ECW championship?
Yeah, I was going to say, why do you think they made the WWE ECW title?
This is a platinum plating on here. Okay.
Yeah, to me, I really don't like the differentiation of the strap colors. Like that, it used to be something special, especially when they brought back the old school IC title where it had the white design, and now they're just pumping out. I mean, the Cruiserweight belt is purple.
Speaking of which, why do they have to change the ring?
Yes,
purple.
the whole color design, like...
I mean, I think that's the reason why the Cruiserweights are exclusive to Raw, even though they have a show right after Smackdown Live, is because that they're able to fill time with backstage segments while they change the ropes in the ring to look Cruiserweight-y, or whatever.
Well, my thing with that is, as a safety measure, I'm pretty sure they have pros setting up the ring.
Right.
But somebody's going to screw up one of these days and set that up way too fast, and in that little period of time, they have to change the ring up, because they do it really, really fast.
I am glad, though, that the ropes on Raw are red and blue on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I'm so glad for that.
The longest time.
So,
the white ropes were
all right,
a little overdone.
Anyway, back to the match.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I've been, in the time that we haven't been doing this, I've been kind of just casually watching. 9 times out of 10, I keep it on Raw or SmackDown as background noise while I'm doing other stuff. When did Randy Orton join the Wyatt family? Why is his eyes glowing red? Why is his camera upside down at times when he's talking to someone in the ring? Why am I supposed to take any of this seriously?
I missed that too, as well. I remember Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton feuding, and I missed like 2 weeks, and I come back and he's part of the Wyatt family.
Okay, I'm going to clear this up because I'm clearly the person that watches this
consistently,
watching this stuff way more than he probably should. Okay, now
did you brainwash him? Because I remember they kind of teamed up, kind of half and half during the Survivor Series match, but that was about it.
Now. No, they were together then, too.
Okay, explain this to me, and I'll
Orton,
rate it on the stupid scale.
Randy Orton was feuding with Bray Wyatt. I believe the last match they had, one-on-one, Luke Harper interfered. And cost Orton the match. Bray Wyatt won. Then I think Kane was also in the middle of a feud somewhere. So, Kane's role in this is ridiculous, by the way. I'm sick of Kane. Kane needs to retire. I haven't liked Kane in the last 3 or 4 years.
You didn't like corporate Kane?
He ruins everything. Stop it.
I think everyone's on board with that.
And by the way, I'm going to get off Sask real quick. On Raw, Big Show looked very, 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 very strange with all that weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but getting back to this...
He'll gain it back in about a month.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. He comes back with missing
He changes weight variance as much as he changes his skill and face.
390. He looks extremely weird. But anyway, the following week, I think after that match between Bray and Randy, Luke Harper and Kane were in a little mini feud, and Bray was at ringside with him. And it looks like Harper is about to win or get chokeslammed. He's about to get either about to win or he was about to lose. Either way, something happened where Bray Wyatt got involved. The referee had his back turned and got distracted again, or something like that. This is actually Bray fighting Kane, not Luke Harper. Because Bray was in the ring. Bray got in the ring. Luke Harper and the referee were doing whatever they were doing. Randy comes out, music hits and everything. Referee acts like he doesn't hear the music playing.
Because it's one thing to hear the crowd noise.
Randy gets in the ring, looks at Bray Wyatt like he's about to RKO him, turns and RKO's Kane, and slowly, Randy Orton style, kneels, gets out of the ring, stands at ringside. Bray and him and Bray lock eyes, and Bray covers Kane 1, 2, 3. Match over with. One of the new girls backstage interviews Randy, asks him his explanation. He says, well, if you can't beat him, join him.
So they're doing the Daniel Bryan thing again?
So then finally...
Oh my God.
The next week, they initiate Randy Orton into the Wyatt family, and his eyes glow red. And from there on, they've been a tag team. All that BS aside, I like them together. They are awesome.
I'll admit
together.
they are good together. They are a good team.
It's giving them both something to do, and I think WWE
gives Bray Wyatt wins, which is something he's been lacking over the last couple of years.
Yeah, nobody recovers from a John Cena loss when they're hot early on. But what's going on with this is I really like that Bray Wyatt's getting wins. Randy Orton has something to do, and I think I don't think it's going to end like anytime soon. Maybe not till like WrestleMania or after WrestleMania.
I can see this going past WrestleMania, yeah.
Because Randy Orton wanted to be heel anyway. He likes working better as a heel.
Yep.
And he did the company a huge favor by going down to Brock the way he did.
Yeah.
He did not want to do that.
Right.
So I think this is their way of saying, okay, thanks, we're going to let you do what you want to do for a while, but we're going to integrate you into this storyline so you get to be a bad guy. So I think they're just giving him what he wants for now, as a thank you, because they said Randy Orton was not extremely happy with having to do that the way he did.
Yeah.
Especially with how built up that match was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his return match. He was going up against Brock Lesnar. That was the main event of the show. And it ended, completely quicker than anyone expected.
There was a report going around saying Randy Orton, he basically said, I won't be doing this again.
Right, yeah. And plus he got busted open too hard way. Yeah. It didn't look like it was blading or anything like that, especially with how WWE is against blood these days.
You could see how that elbow, especially as a martial artist myself, you know how to cut someone open with an elbow.
Yeah.
So Brock knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it just seems weird to me. I'm glad that Orton has something to do. I'm glad he's a champion again, even though I think they're going to do the whole New Day thing with him and Bray and Luke and with the whole Freebird thing. I'm glad that it looks like he's doing it not to put himself over, but more to put Bray over, which I think is something that Bray's been lacking.
Bray is definitely getting the rub from Randy Orton. I said that to myself while I was watching. What's the pay-per-view we watched? TLC.
Yeah,
TLC. They're running into each other. Look at that already.
Yeah. It was back TLC / Block Road something or another. So, But I'm glad that they're champions. I'm glad that it's not Beauty and the Man Beast anymore. In my opinion, they shouldn't have been the first inaugural SmackDown Tag Champions to begin with.
To me, it should have been the Usos, so the Usos could have feuded with American Alpha, and we go from there. And now both of those feuds have either been dropped or put on the back burner, indefinitely until this whole thing runs its course.
Yeah, I hate how American Alpha has kind of been sent to the bottom barrel. I mean, Gable had a win last night.
They're keeping them strong, but if they face anyone like, Randy Orton or someone like that, they're definitely going to be like, they're going to lose. But they're keeping them strong in the terms of making sure that
they're definitely treating them like they just came up from NXT. They're definitely treating them like that. It's a slower process than I would have liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like the pairing of Orton and Wyatt. I think it gives, especially for the SmackDown tag titles, to bring them in, to put them on. I like the pairing of Rhino and Heath Slater, but again, it's a novelty.
Yeah.
It doesn't give them credibility for the championship. But when you take two main event guys and you put the tag team championships on them and make them a believable tag team, I don't like that Randy Orton is technically playing second fiddle as being part of the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them be like, two cohesive units pairing together. But I think the championships definitely get the rub from having these two holding them. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think what they're doing with American Alpha is they're being very careful not to oversaturate the audience with them, bringing them in. And I think those two are going to be the ones that are going to take the championships off.
I think that's the direction they're going. Because I think after that happens, which is going to be, it could be a WrestleMania. I'm hoping that's a WrestleMania.
That's what I'm
match.
hoping.
I'm hoping. They'll probably go into their feud with the Usos from there, and the Usos will probably say, "Well, we beat you when you first came in, and we're the whatever we're doing now because we don't dress with colors anymore. We just wear clothes we find at the store. So we're gonna feud with you again because we hurt your friend's knee and we want a tag title shot."
Yeah, I can see that. It was a decent way to start out the show, the match. I was glad to see the Wyatts actually win, even. It just seems weird that Orton, despite the way his character's been built over the years, it seems like a perfect fit, but it just seems so weird. And to have his eyes glow like that.
Yeah, that part.
That was too over the top, but...
It's like an intern in the WWE editing suite.
My thing is
let's throw effect on it.
My thing is with them two, even though the way they went about pairing those two together, to me, it was a little bit rushed, and it's a little bit odd, but... the fact that they're so odd together, to me, is what makes it work.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those scenarios to where, the odd couple ends up becoming, the best tag team in the company, or at least on the brand, because it's definitely unpredictable. You don't know if their conflicts are going to arise between the two. It was kind of cool that... Bray gave Orton the win last night. That was kind of cool the way they set that up.
Yeah.
Looking like as if it's going to be Sister Abigail ended up turning into the RKO. I thought that was really a good way to definitely show that this is going to be a long-term thing and maybe not go past WrestleMania.
And they hurried up and got the, Slater and Rhino out of the way, gave them a rematch and a loss right away so they can clearly move on to something else, which to me, if they're actually going to go with American Alpha at WrestleMania, which we don't know, that could be a big multi-man match. We don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely... I'd wait before throwing American Alpha into there, though.
I'm just trying to think of another face team they could, take on in the meantime. Could be the Hype Bros.
That's what they're shooting for. Is what it looked like on SmackDown. Is we're going to get the Hype Bros versus the Wyatt family.
That would be a good way to get... Rumble. Yeah, that would be a good way to get past Royal Rumble. You can build something up in the 2 months leading up to WrestleMania.
Speaking of the Hype Bros, let's back up for a second. Why in the blue hell is Mojo Rawley wearing not Mojos? I should be calling them Mojos, but the
Zubaz pants?
Zubaz? I thought they were called Jams or something.
The Zubaz Jams, yeah. Maybe because he's best friends with Rob Gronkowski, and that was a big NFL thing back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Aren't you supposed to match your tag team partner?
Yeah, I don't know. That's overrated. They have matching T-shirts,
though. Supposed to match.
All right, we'll move on for next matchup on the card was Nikki Bella defeats Carmella in a no disqualification grudge match, and then afterward, Carmella unveils apparently Natalya was the one that attacked Nikki at Survivor Series.
Don't care. I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to get a little bit of heat for this, but this new women's division, it's the same as the Divas division to me. I care about none of it. All it just seems, and this is going back to what we said in the beginning, it just seems like this is a continuation of what's going on Total Divas. And I don't care about Total Divas. And none of their storylines I give even the remote care about. Especially on SmackDown, which just seems hollow to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. It depends on who they're doing a storyline with. Clearly they're trying to make Nikki be the John Cena of the division later on. However,
I wonder why.
Yeah, as Triple H once said, these people know the score. Anyway, I like what they're doing with the women. I really do, because before, to me, it was completely unwatchable, totally unwatchable. Yep. This is someone who watches every last bit of wrestling during the week. I don't watch any other TV shows except for the occasional Ratchet reality show, which I hardly, watch anymore. However,
but you watch Sports Center when Coach interviews a superstar every week, right?
Nope. Too much. That's a little bit too much for me. That's why I don't watch the Raw pre-show, post-show, and like Smack Talk, even though that's supposed to be really good. I just don't watch it. It's too much. I need a break after that. But with the women, like, the division, especially when it was called the Divas division, that was almost unwatchable.
It was the bathroom break of the show.
Yeah, even when they had good wrestlers during that time, they were just out of place because you had AJ, Beth Phoenix. I'm talking about AJ Lee, not AJ Styles, who's not a diva. All right. AJ Lee, Beth Phoenix was there. Mickie James was there for a time. This was probably before she left. Let's see. Who else was there that was pretty good? Layla had gotten really good. Michelle McCool. I think I might have said Melina already. They were there, but they were focusing more on the chicks that either were coming in from like print modeling or the Diva Search.
Right.
I mean, and I'll even give Candice Michelle some credit for when she got really good. But they were like there at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So they were like Kelly was Divas champion, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't care what girl I see. I do not believe Kelly can beat them up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She can even run the ropes.
Eve Torres got really, really good. She was champion,
yes, she did.
But look what she had. Look who she had to work with.
Yeah.
So all those women are gone. We got a lot of good women in from NXT. They drained NXT's women's division.
They did.
They have.
I seem like they did that right when the brand split happened.
That's another thing. I think the brand split was them basically rebooting NXT because a lot of guys that weren't even drafted ended up getting called up anyway.
Yeah.
So it definitely feels like around WrestleMania season, like a couple months after WrestleMania, they're going to have another draft and call up a bunch of NXT guys and reboot it over again. Because I think this is going to be... It's been known as Triple H's pet project for a while now. Yeah. And I think he wants to make sure that it stays as fresh as it possibly can.
And they're just picking up so many indie guys. It's insane.
Yeah, and that's phenomenal because I think that's what they need right
now. Yeah, because you look at NXT last year. You know, the Bayley Sasha Banks, legacy, which is what I like to call it, because those were match of the year. I mean, that Iron Woman match was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The match at Brooklyn before then was, match of the night. It definitely shows that given the right way to write these matches, they know how to pull it off, and they have the right kind of people who can follow through with the instructions and put on a good match. And even if they need to go off on their own and call their own moves, they can. Yeah, it's just a problem that when they go up to the main roster, I think this is, my problem with this match in particular as well, because you had Carmella, who was one of my favorites in NXT as well, just based on her wrestling ability, and it just seemed so flat and lifeless. It's not so much the wrestling, it's the way these matches are booked.
Yeah, in SmackDown's defense, that I don't think that happens very often with their women's division. I mean, on Raw, I don't think it happens. It depends on who you are on Raw with their women's division. Now, if you're like, I don't know, Alicia Fox, somebody, they'll throw a match together for you, and you'll have a bunch of BS to do. Now, like if you're like Charlotte, Sasha, or Bayley, something like that, they'll give you more fleshed out match to work, and probably a better storyline. In this match here, they've been doing this storyline with Carmella and Nikki for, well, I want to say since SummerSlam. Maybe?
Yeah, it was something like that. It's been a little bit.
To me, it wasn't a bad match. I mean, you had a stupid, idiotic referee. First of all, they try to cover up for it, and Mauro, now I'm gonna get you for this one. He said, "Oh, it is a no disqualification match, but you can still be counted out." How?
Yep.
Can I
they change the rules so much.
I'm not gonna say the F word. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, wait till the end of the show.
We'll work on it because it has to be F word worthy. Anyway, how does that make any sense?
Yeah, it was like a couple years ago when
somebody was in his ear because they caught the referee counting. Why is he counting? Oh, Mauro, say something. I don't care what it is. Just say something.
I just remember, I think it was TLC a couple years ago when it was Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. That Michael Cole kept saying, if they don't get back in the ring, they're going to get counted out. It's a TLC match. How would they be counted out in a TLC match? And it's like Vince or whoever's, giving the information into the lead announcer's ears doesn't know the rules of the match he wrote. So
yeah, and the referee probably was, I don't know, I understand they probably do that instinctively, but he wasn't thinking clearly, so they had to try to fix that. But to me, the match wasn't bad. It was a match you could see on SmackDown. It wasn't pay-per-view quality. It didn't go too long. It wasn't too short either. To me, though, instead of billing it, especially after what we saw, instead of billing it as a no disqualification match, like flat out, it should have just been a kendo stick match. I would have loved it. You could have got away with that because that's pretty much the only weapon they used. I did like the finish though where Nikki just lit Carmella up with that fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah,
and that was just you couldn't see anything for about 30 seconds, and then Carmella was like covered in the CO2 from it,
and she just pop out, just like going all over, and then go back down to the grass.
She popped like it was crazy. Then she got hit with Rack Attack 2.0. Game over. The fans were surprisingly into it.
Yeah. It was early enough in the show where they could still get into something like that. If it was like 2 matches later, they wouldn't have cared. They would have used it as a bathroom break and gone on. So that's another thing that WWE's doing right with their women's division is that they're putting it on at the correct points in the show to where, you're either hyped from the last match or something happened storyline-wise that you're excited about. You're focused on what's going on in the action in the ring, and they're putting it on at the correct time in the shows to where you are still interested. Like, just for an example, with last night, they had that Alexa Bliss celebration for the women's title, which we'll get into in a little bit. And I just felt like, right before the main event, I get it, you want something to lead into, but it just felt like it was the wrong time to do that. It should have happened, in the spot that Miz TV was on.
Yeah. And I still feel the same way about the Miz as I did 2 years ago when we were talking about him. So I'm not going to get into that just yet because I got some stuff to say about that bastard. Anyway, we can go on to the next match. I said my piece.
Oh yeah, here we go. Well, this will be perfect for you, D, because the next match was The Miz defeats Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match to retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
So the chicken beat Colonel Sanders then?
Oh, God.
I remember.
What the hell?
I remember seeing that. This was, what, SummerSlam? This was SummerSlam. This was after the match that Ziggler was in. I don't even remember who he was facing. They just come out and they have a KFC commercial. Miz is flopping around in a chicken suit.
And it was supposed to be something that the storyline that was taking place with Dolph before that commercial aired was something that was supposed to be done for you to take Dolph Ziggler extremely seriously. Extremely seriously.
And then they show Miz in a chicken costume. Then they show Dolph Ziggler live at a Smackdown taping, dressed head to toe as Colonel Sanders, who apparently just hopped the fence, grabbed the microphone, and just started railing into a recording of a quote-unquote A-lister. I need to make this clear to everyone. Miz's character is he's the A-lister of the WWE because of his movie roles, right? Movie roles that he's actually surprisingly good at, even though how crap the movies are.
I'm rolling my eyes. You guys can't see that.
The Marine Forest crap, but Miz at least tried. That's what I'll say about that. And we're supposed to take the Miz seriously as a heel after he flopped around in a chicken suit. We're supposed to take Dolph Ziggler's storyline that he was up for the IC title seriously after he wrestled as Colonel Sanders. They had a wrestling match in the ring with a referee with stock audio of JBL.
Oh, Lord.
Commentating over it.
Yeah.
I just remember typing, and I know you saw it on my Facebook. I remember putting 2 of Northeast Ohio's best. One dressed as a chicken, one dressed as a dead guy turned mascot, and I am now dead inside because of it. That was like, if I was a wrestling fan who was like teetering on, just giving up, and I saw that, I was just like,
yeah, I hate seeing that commercial.
I give up. I'm done. I'm supposed to take these guys seriously after this?
Yeah.
I understand, last night I saw, Enzo and Cass, singing Jingle Bells or something.
They're selling stuff. So.
They're selling stuff. They're promoting WWE Week or whatever it is.
Shameless promotion.
Yeah, but that's one thing because they're at least in character. I'm supposed to take their character seriously after seeing them dress up and have a cosplay match during a Smackdown taping turned into a commercial.
I question some of WWE's marketing sometimes.
Yeah, and I actually question getting back into this because I know you want to grow off on the Miz, so let me just say this. The wrong person won this match.
They absolutely did. This feud should have been over when Dolph put his career on the line.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler's got to be one of the most disrespected guys on that roster, period.
Yeah, because he's one of the guys who legitimately tries. He legitimately tries. He's not trying to be a main eventer. He's not trying to go after the world title anymore or anything like that. He's trying. That's what the match was. It was him and Ambrose for the world title at SummerSlam.
Look at it this way, man. And that was out of nowhere. Now that you mentioned that match happened out of nowhere. He was nowhere ready to be built up for a title match. That was just to get Ambrose a win to get to AJ.
Right.
But yeah, he's totally disrespected. As he's a great performer. He can talk. Yeah. I remember at the time where Dolph Ziggler couldn't speak worth a lick on the microphone. He got really, really good.
Yeah. Him being managed by Ficky at that time definitely helped.
Yeah, it helped. And but I look at somebody like Dolph, who's in real life, he's a pretty legitimate badass. I mean, Kent State Hall of Famer.
Boo.
I don't know, we're acting guys, but hey, he was a great wrestler there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hall of Famer, Yost countless records over there.
Now, when it comes to the Miz, I look at the Miz. You could beat up the Miz. Who could beat up the Miz? I know I could beat up the Miz. Come on. Am I supposed to buy this guy? I mean, they say he's a tough guy. He can take it in the ring. Yeah, he can. Yeah. He can. I'll give him that.
His character hasn't helped. His character hasn't helped. This whole Hollywood
mid-card it screams mid-card all over.
Yeah, the whole Hollywood A-lister thing should have ended when Mizdow ended, and that was a year and a half ago. It definitely
the real star of that was Damien Sandow.
Yeah,
and look what happened.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a case of they're abusing Dolph Ziggler, who definitely deserves better. They have Miz doing the wrong gimmick. In my opinion, he should be, I don't want to say like Randy Orton, but he should be like Randy Orton light. Kind of a combination of his chick magnet persona back in the old ECW days when he was still kind of green, to, you know, I'm a former WWE champion, I'm hardened by some of my experiences, you people need to respect me, and anything else is just he's done with the whole A-lister thing. The only reason he's still doing the A-lister thing is so that his wife can come down with him at ringside anymore. And how did someone like The Miz get someone like Maurice anyway?
Yeah, who knows?
Working together in a close space for, 300 days a year? That'll happen.
Look, I respect The Miz. I'm still a Miz fan for his in-ring ability. Being a Northeast Ohio...
Don't get me wrong, he's a good wrestler.
Yeah, being a Northeast Ohio guy definitely helps. You know, I have a ton of Miz shirts at home. You see me wear them a bunch back in college. But it's just a case of the wrong guy won this match. Dolph Ziggler... I'm not saying that Dolph Ziggler would have had an extended run with the IC title. Maybe until the next SmackDown pay-per-view or until the Rumble.
My thing is, if Dolph was going to lose that title, because he just lost it on a throwaway SmackDown like 4 days before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If he was going to lose that championship... Because honestly, I would have really liked to see, especially with the finish they did. It should have been Dolph between Dolph and Sami Zayn. Period.
Yeah.